The movie begins with the tale of the ancient Ukrainian forest that harbored the source of life. This gave the forest dwellers their power and spark. One winter, while the forest was asleep, the owner of the sawmill broke into the forest's heart and asked the guardian for a drop of the source of life. He needed it to save his daughter's life, however, he later returned with an army to steal the source of life for himself. A terrible battle began and all the humans vanished. The forest guardian lost most of his powers and told the forest dwellers that no human was allowed to set foot in the forest. Years later, as spring approaches, Mavka wakes up after a long winter and starts to wake up the forest. She touches the frozen water and it begins to flow again. Further away from the forest, Lucas, an aspiring musician, performs for the villagers. Suddenly, a carriage arrives and throws flyers for everyone to see. Lucas picks it up and someone is offering a job. Just then, a young boy tells Lucas that his uncle is not feeling well. As Lucas leaves to check on his uncle, a woman named Kylina arrives at the village. She's the daughter of the sawmill owner who had died during the battle. She tells the villagers that she wants to rebuild the sawmill and that all they have to do is climb over the dark mountain. As soon as everyone hears of the mountain, they begin leaving and tell her that they don't want to die. Back at the forest, Mavka hears the call of a creature. She runs towards the sound and finds an injured lynx cub. She helps the cub break free from the trap when she hears that the guardian is calling for her. Meanwhile, a healer tells Lucas that his uncle is too sick and needs medication from the city to heal. Lucas goes into his house and breaks his piggy bank so that he can buy the medicines. However, he finds that he does not have enough money. This is when he remembers the flyer and rushes to find Kylina. When he arrives at her mansion, she tells him that he needs to find a tree with a special leaf on it before showing him a picture. She asks the Bouncer brothers to accompany Lucas. At the same time, all of the forest dwellers gather in front of the Guardian. The Guardian tells them that he has grown too weak and that it is time for a new Guardian. He ignores everyone's questions and tells them that they need to gather at the heart of the forest where the new Guardian will be decided. As everyone begins to wonder who will become the new Guardian, Mavka assures everyone that anyone can become a Guardian. However, some of the dwellers tell Mavka that she cannot become a Guardian because she's too gullible. Elsewhere, Lucas and the Bouncer brothers walk through a cave. At the end of the cave, the brothers push aside two rocks to reveal a beautiful forest. The three of them get out of the cave when the Bouncer brothers spot bison and prepare to hunt them. To protect the bison, Lucas bumps into the brothers, causing them to shoot in the wrong direction. The gunshot alerts the forest dwellers and the bison of danger. Mavka, who had also heard the sound, hears the scared bison rushing through the forest. She uses her powers to calm them down and then decides to get rid of the humans herself to show others that she's not gullible and nice. On the other hand, the Bouncer brothers tell Lucas to look for the tree alone so that they can look around. Lucas searches high and low but is unable to find it. He then sits down and begins playing his flute when Mavka comes up behind him to scare him. Intrigued by the flute, she accidentally speaks and says that the music is beautiful. When Lucas hears her, he immediately turns around and gets scared as he spots Mavka's kitty frog, Swampy. He runs towards the cave but hits his head and passes out. When he wakes up, he finds himself tied on top of a bison. Mavka asks him questions and discovers that Lucas is not evil like the stories that she had heard. She introduces herself as the soul of the forest. During this time, the Bouncer brothers walk deeper into the forest. Suddenly, they get surrounded by fog and are lured by nymphs. One of the Bouncer's brothers disappears while the other one finds himself in a swamp. When he regains his senses, he runs away. Meanwhile, Lucas tells Mavka and Hush, another forest dweller, that he only needs a cure for his uncle before he can leave. Mavka decides that she's going to help him and tells Hush that she has a duty to help all living creatures in the forest. Then she shows Lucas around the forest. Soon they arrive at a waterfall and Lucas tells Mavka that once his uncle gets better, he plans on going to the big city with his friends. Mavka asks him what the big city is and Lucas tells her that it is a land where there are as many buildings as the trees in the forest. All of a sudden, Hush interrupts the two of them and pushes Lucas behind a bush. Mavka asks him what he's doing, but before he can answer her, the Guardian arrives behind them. He asks them who their guest is, and Mavka tells him that it is a distant cousin of Hush as a plant-covered Lucas emerges from the bushes. The Guardian tells Lucas that he needs to attend the ceremony before he leaves. Mavka assures a panicked Hush that once the ceremony is over, she will come up with a plan to get Lucas out of the forest. In the village, the Bouncer brothers arrive outside Kylina's mansion. When she sees that they don't have the leaf, she begins screaming at them. This is when one side of her face starts losing its life and wrinkles begin to form. She rushes back to her room and opens up a chest. She takes out the source of life that her father had gotten for her and brushes it over her face. She realizes that she had used the last drop of it and screams in frustration. Back at the heart of the forest, the ceremony begins. Lucas notices a weeping willow tree in the middle that has the leaves that he was looking for. Just then, the Guardian tells everyone gathered that it is time and calls on the supreme spirits of nature. Everyone turns around to watch as a bright green light emerges from a stone and all the spirits are summoned. The Guardian tells them to choose a new Guardian. The spirits choose Mavka as the new Guardian. She tries to tell the Guardian that she cannot possibly be the new Guardian, but he assures her that the spirits are wise and they know best. Mavka is then bestowed powers from the spirits and becomes the new Guardian. Everyone begins clapping, but the nymphs step forward and begin belittling Mavka. They tell everyone that there must have been a mistake. However, Lucas speaks up at the moment to defend Mavka. The nymphs ask him who he is before claiming that he smells like a human. They pull off the leaves and find that they were correct. Mavka steps on a mushroom, causing smoke to appear. This gives Lucas the chance to escape. As the smoke disappears, Mavka half-heartedly tells everyone to chase him. All of the forest dwellers begin chasing Lucas, but he manages to escape. Then Mavka tells him that the lynx is going to help him get out of the forest. She gives him a drop of the source of light and tells him that it will help his uncle. She then warns him to stay away because the forest dwellers will kill him if he returns. The next day, Kylina tells her stylist to spy on Lucas because she does not think he returned empty-handed. Lucas unwraps the source of light from the leaf and gives it to his uncle to drink. His uncle immediately ages back and feels better. Happy that he's feeling better, the two of them leave his house to celebrate. At the same time, the stylist sneaks into their house and spots the leaf. He steals the leaf and reports back to Kylina. She realizes that Lucas had been to the source of life. She instructs him to follow Lucas everywhere so that they know when he plans on visiting the forest again. Back in the forest, Mavka wants to see Lucas again and return the flute that he had left there. She convinces herself that as the new Guardian, she needs to know more about humans so she can leave the forest. She soon finds herself outside of Lucas's village. She changes the color of her hair and visits Lucas in his workshop where he is making a necklace for her. Just as he gets up to leave, he spots Mavka. She hands him his flute and tells him to play it for her before she leaves. He begs her to stay and join him at the festival in town. When she agrees, the two of them leave to join the festivities. Just as they leave, a magical flower blooms behind them. At the same time, Kylina's stylist continues to follow them around town. The two of them dance and have fun until Lucas's band tells him that it is time for them to leave for the city since his uncle is now feeling better. Mavka also tells Lucas that she needs to leave. Before she leaves, Lucas plays the flute for her. The music causes Mavka's hair color to change back and the marks on her body begin to glow. This is when Kylina's stylist begins screaming that she's a forest demon and that she has come to kill them. Lucas tries to defend her but gets knocked out. The villagers capture Mavka with the help of the Bouncer brothers. Kylina, who had also shown up at the festival, tells the villagers that she's going to burn her just like she burned her father to death. However, Mavka uses her powers to get out of the Bouncer's hold. Another villager tries to attack her, but the Guardian protects her and gets stabbed instead. The Guardian tells Mavka that she had made the mistake to trust a human like he had. Meanwhile, Kylina finds Mavka's necklace on the ground and picks it up. She tells the villagers that they need to strike first so that they remain safe from the demons. She then tricks Lucas into drawing her a map of the source of life by pretending that she still has Mavka. By the time Lucas realizes that Kylina was lying, it was too late. She locks him in the basement and turns a lever that causes the basement to start filling up with water. Kylina and all humans use a saw machine and start cutting off the trees. Mavka uses her powers to stop the humans and tries to tell Kylina that they can help each other. However, Kylina reveals that the sawmill owner never had a daughter. His wife had lied to him that she could stay young and beautiful with the help of the drop of life. She also tells Mavka that Lucas had betrayed her. This causes Mavka to get weak, giving the humans the chance to move forward with their attack. A battle begins between the humans and the forest dwellers when Lucas's dog finds Hush and tries to tell him that Lucas needs help. Back at the mansion, Lucas struggles to remain afloat as the basement fills with water. The stylist, who had stayed behind to keep a watch on Lucas, is suddenly attacked by Hush and Swampy. Hush fights with the stylist while Swampy opens the locked doors of the basement. He then drags an unconscious Lucas from the underwater and slaps him awake. Meanwhile, Mavka notices the distress of the forest dwellers and tries to use her powers to protect them, but is unable to do anything. She calls the spirit of rock and asks for the power of rage. Everyone there freezes and the spirit arrives. He tells Mavka that the power of rage comes with a price. He tells her that she will lose her life, but she agrees to the terms. She agrees and activates the powers, and a fiery tornado appears around her. Lucas gets out of the mansion and spots Mavka. He tries to stop her, but she pushes him away. He once again tries to walk closer to the fire around her, despite Hush telling him that Mavka can't hear his words. He suddenly realizes that Mavka might be able to hear his music and starts to play the flute as everyone begins singing. Mavka loses her rage and drops to the ground. Lucas catches her and his tear drops on her when he discovers that she is dead. Mavka finds herself floating in the land of nothingness. The spirit tells her that she needs to pay the price, but she refuses to spend eternity in nothingness and conjures up her power. Impressed by her strong will, the spirits give her life back. She wakes up and finds herself in Lucas's arms, with the two of them kissing and the forest dwellers making peace with the humans. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.